As you'll tell pretty soon, 10-15 seconds into this video, you realize that my title is a bit of a joke. I do like Sore Hands. I like the humor. I like the fact that he doesn't take himself too seriously in a community that tends to a little bit. But I'm wondering what you think of the sarcastic approach, the roasting approach, which is obviously a bit tongue-in-cheek because most of the roasting videos end up to have some genuine complimentary information as well. Yeah, it's the sort of humor that little goes a long way, isn't it? It's a bit like Philomena Kunk or watching The Office or Portlandia or something like that. That sort of embarrassment humor tends to go a long way. You don't need a lot of it. I don't think I binge videos from that channel. I catch one every once in a while and find it humorous, but I don't think I could binge them. I don't think I could get away with doing that. I think it takes a certain character type of personality to pull that off. But it's sort of funny in a way. I did catch the so-called beef between Sore Hands and Marcin. Now it's interesting that I don't watch any of these people as a course of habit. I'm a poor subscriber. I don't watch everything by any particular YouTube. I just, when it's recommended to me, if the title or subject matter is appealing, I might click on it. That's the most I can offer. That's the most I expect from anyone really on YouTube. But I did actually catch that Marcin video in question and said to myself, I think halfway through, this is not one guitar. Because I think I was on headphones. Sometimes at night before sleeping, I'll watch a few videos on my headphones. And I think I clicked on that one and listened to a couple of minutes of it, and the claim that it was all done on one guitar was within half a song evidently an invalid claim. It was certainly not one guitar. So I thought it kind of funny that another YouTuber pulled him up on that, and then there was a big fallout, and another video was made to prove that could be played on one guitar, type of thing, which didn't really prove anything. And I really don't care about these online beefs that much. Most of them go over my head. I found that one kind of humorous, mildly humorous in a way, because I had actually caught that video and thought the exact same thing. How can you say this is all one take on one guitar when you can hear the overdubbing and the parts in the production? Not that any of it matters, really. A lot of these tippy-tappy fingerstyle guitarists, as Cameron Sore Hands calls them, I feel similarly about. I think they have amazing technique. I think some of them are absolutely brilliant in terms of the technique they can pull off. They must practice a ton. They tend to fall down for me on some of the compositions. Not all of them, but some of them are, they have this sort of wizardry, pyrotechnic approach to playing guitar. Lots of fireworks, lots of visually stunning movements, but not really much in the way of composition to stir your soul, if you know what I mean. Not all of them, but I'd say quite a lot of them are heavy on the trickery, without perhaps matching the same in musical substance, if you know what I mean. But I think there is an army of fingerstyle guitar players and electric guitar players, shredders if you like, on YouTube that are just technically amazing. I just don't think all of them are compositionally endearing, if that makes sense to you. So I get some of the critique. Um, Now it's funny that you have a classical guitarist that's very proud of being a classical guitarist and basically mentions it 3 or 4 times every video and defends the perch of classicism. I guess you could call it a classical elitist if you like, but I don't think that's really what's going on. Um, there's a lot online. There's a lot of classical musicians pandering to jazz and rock musicians. You get a lot of videos that are entitled "Classical Composer Listens to Metallica for the First Time and is Wowed." And I always think to myself, well, how about we have a rock musician listening to Rite of Spring for the first time and being wowed? Why does it have to be? Why do I have to pander one way? There's plenty in the classical repertoire that is, impressive, energetic, cool. All the things that you'd apply to modern electric music, you can find in the classical world if you look hard enough, and if you're willing to indulge deep enough, if you like. So anyway, this has kind of got off onto a bit of a tangent, but I'm wondering what you think of all these roasting videos, these sarcastic videos, these videos that sort of call out the big channels. I noticed that Sore Hands has quite a lot of fun with Rick Beato. Rick Beato is absolutely huge, and everyone kind of kowtows a little bit in dealing with him. But this particular YouTuber is not afraid to sort of have a bit of fun at his expense, usually from an ageist perspective. And funnily enough, in a couple of videos that I've watched, when he's roasting or making fun of other YouTubers, he's sort of then detracts quickly, saying, well, I'm not as popular. I'm nothing compared to that. I don't have the same amount of hits and likes. And I always found that a bit silly personally, because as I've said many times, YouTube is not a true meritocracy. And there are many, many smaller YouTubers that don't have the hits and likes and subscriber counts that are perfectly viable, interesting, contentful, provocative channels with interesting people with things to say. And you have a lot of really big channels with people in the thousands, millions of subscribers. And I watch one of their videos every once in a while and scratch my head as to why that's the case, what's driven so many people to flock to the channel. And I do think there's a herd mentality in all social media. I think popular things get more popular because they're popular. Sometimes I think that people want to be in the popularity club, so they'll listen to something that's already sort of number one, or something that's already gained traction, that's gone viral. They'll give it a chance. Whereas if they see something that doesn't have that particular traction, they may not give it a chance. So I think there is a danger in believing that there's a proper meritocracy going on here, and all the smaller channels should kowtow to the larger channels based on hits and likes and subscriptions. I don't think it's that clean. I think it's a lot more nuanced. And when I see a dialogue or a disagreement or debate going on between two YouTubers or two people on social media channels of any kind, I don't naturally deflect the one that has the most pull in terms of popularity. Often the argument stands up on its own. You can see who has the superior argument. It has little to do with likes and popularity, at least in my opinion anyway. So, and when I see these small channels, being sort of shy to question some of the larger celebrities on YouTube, it just sort of makes me laugh a little bit. And that's what I mean about the community taking itself too seriously sometimes. So I think it's healthy to have dissenting voices. It's healthy to poke fun. It's healthy to have a bit of sarcasm, a bit of humor. I think it keeps things fresh, honest. Of course, you can overdo it. And sometimes friendly banter can cross over into, hate speech or, generate ill feeling a little too easily, a little too quickly. So I think you have to be artful. And I think channels like Sore Hands are good at doing it. You can see it's very much tongue-in-cheek. The joke is apparent. It's a good ruse, if you like. So anyway, I'm not quite sure why I felt the need to talk about that, but I think it's interesting if you're in the guitar/instrument community to see these kinds of developments going on, and to not allow things to become too rote, too serious, too prescriptive in terms of the sheer numbers that are attached to these videos. I think it's important to keep perspective and to make up your own mind about things, and to give credence where it's merited based upon content, argument, original thought, rather than just sheer numbers. But anyway, that's my take. I'll never probably be in that top echelon, and to be honest, I really don't care. Sure, it would be nice to buy a couple of houses with what some of these people are making, but I think you need the full spectrum of voices on any channel. So we all fall in our place, and as long as we put out provocative, interesting stuff, let the chips fall where they may. All right, folks, go check out some of his videos. They're kind of funny, enjoyable, and somebody who is not afraid to sort of just be on the channel practicing, not putting out perfect, polished performances, but showing the process of what it is to practice and ready yourself for examination, being in a music school, the amount of dedication you have to have for one single piece over a long amount of time. It's not all about the polished sheen of performance, that we have so many tools that can sort of compensate for our inefficiencies. It's sort of more of a naked approach to performative music. So check it out and let me know if there are channels you find interesting for the same reason. All right, folks. See you next time.